Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. Good to have everyone here once again. Appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoy any part of this video, just do me a favor, click that like button. You know I would greatly appreciate that. So let's begin here. This is on U.Today and it's titled XRPL remains foremost in payments with launch of this feature in 2012. Let's scroll down here and read this little tidbit. Why would they mention 2012? It says here, according to Ripple CTO David Schwartz, XRP Ledger, or XRPL for short, boasts of unique advancements in payment technology dating back to 2012, before several cryptocurrencies even existed. Oh, so David Schwartz is just strutting his stuff and letting them know, listen, we've been more advanced than every other crypto since 2012, and they've never caught up. That's what he's trying to let the people know. It says here, XRP Ledger uses a consensus protocol, unlike any digital asset that came before it. Payment processing is one of the primary functions of XRPL. We know this, that we know. It says XRPL, this is from David Schwartz directly, XRPL has a CLOB with cross-currency and cross-asset payments that use multiple paths for liquidity since 2012. He's trying to point people to that patent. I'm telling you. At this point, it says it bears mentioning that Ripple is a company building payments infrastructure, crypto solutions, and software for businesses and institutions, mostly banks, large financial institutions, non-banking financial institutions, but mostly banks. Let's clarify that. XRP's, the crux of what XRP is going to be doing, interbank payments. That's big money, huge money. Now, it says here, XRP. Oh, well, you know, they give us some basic information we already know. So I had a question the other day in the comment section. It was about, hey, when is all of this going to occur or happen? Well, unfortunately, I'm not in charge of the setting up of infrastructures. Remember, they're building systems. There's no telling when that's going to get done. Number two, there's the human factor. They have to train all of these different people that are going to be utilizing the systems on how to properly utilize the system. That's number two. Number three, beefing up security, making sure things are as secure as possible. That means you got to run multiples of tests, real world tests, which they just start rolling out digital sandboxes. Not this year, sorry about that, but in 2022. That's when digital sandboxes became huge. Before that, they were trying to run manual tests. That's what all those projects are about, manual tests. Well, now that they have the digital sandboxes, then maybe some of that testing can be sped up now because you can just do everything in a virtual world that it has real world settings, right? You understand what I'm saying? So that might speed it up a little bit, but the banks in the end, not I, nor Ripple or Algorand or Stellar is in charge of when the banks choose to have everything up and running. I mean, fully utilize everything to their full capacity. Only the banks are in charge of that. So they've thrown out multiples of numbers over the years. You've heard JP Morgan, not heard, you've read JP Morgan say in their documents, all the people that are day ones and been here for a long time can vouch for that because they downloaded the document. JP Morgan said 2 to 3 years before everything will be fully up and running. Then you have Bank of International Settlements for a long time was saying 3 to 5 years. That was in another document. So I'm trying to give you factual numbers that the banks are talking about or large financial institutions are saying before everything is up and running in the new financial system. They were saying 3 to 5 years. Well, then we had some new numbers from the Bank of International Settlements. This was a couple of weeks ago. We covered it on the channel, so people were able to screenshot that. They probably downloaded that document. But in a new document, they were saying, what were the numbers they were saying? Oh, now the Bank of International Settlements was saying, what, 2 to 3 years also? 2 to 3? Something like that. Then we had another document that came out by Ripple itself, Ripple. And Ripple said 4 years. That seems reasonable in my humble opinion. I say 4 is reasonable. Everyone's saying 2 to 3, and then they saying 3 to 5, and 4 is like right there. Ripple has a good idea of like how fast infrastructures are being set up, how well everything is going. So if Ripple says 4 years, that seems reasonable in my humble opinion. Now, Personally, I'm willing to hold as long as it takes. I'm here till the end. So time frames don't really matter to me, but I would love for things to happen faster. I would love for it to happen right now, next month. I do believe that there's the possibility. Keep in mind, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to be. I'm just a humble researcher. I bring to you what I find and I share a few humble thoughts, nothing more. But I think that there is the high possibility of an explosion once the SEC case is over. And a lot of that institutional money jumps in. Is it a guarantee? No, there's no guarantees in any of this. But I think that there's a great possibility of that. If not immediately, definitely over time, right? Once there's a positive outcome to the SEC case. So there's no real concrete time period to say like, this is when it goes off. Like, no. But that's why we're researchers. Researchers, we're not, what we do is not based on that. It's based on watching catalyst. So we know before everyone else what's going to happen. Monitoring the catalyst that could lead to something. Same way, just to give you an example, same thing we did with Algorand. I like to say this all the time because it's just astounding how the tables turn. When we first got into Algorand, we were discussing Algorand. Everyone told us Algorand was trash. We were saying, look at these catalysts. Then Algorand exploded multiple times. Boom, 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 boom. When we got into Cello at the beginning of the channel, Cello was very low price. And we were saying, hey, look at this activity. Look at these catalysts. At the time, there was a good amount of stuff going on. Then Cello exploded. Boom, 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 boom. This is all based off of catalyst, monitoring catalyst. So you know ahead of time that there's the possibility that the price can go up. That's all we're doing here. We're using logic, right? Same thing with Zilliqa. We can go on and on. Same thing with Backcoin. I'm trying to think. Same thing with Quant. Remember? When we got into Quant, we bought a ton of Quant, around $40. Ton of Quant. Disgusting amounts. $40. At the time, everybody's like, no, Quant's going lower. This is what everyone was saying. No, Quant's going to tank. And we're saying, hey, look at the catalyst. All we're doing, we're monitoring catalyst. And it's a lot of work. It's not easy because we all have lives. We have businesses to run. We have things to do. But when you want to make that money, you got to stay on top of the catalyst like a shark, like a lion, like a tiger. You got to want that money. It's the difference between the winners and the losers. And we stayed on top of the catalyst. And then what wound up happening? After identifying a multitude of catalysts, Quant went from 40, 60 to 60 to 80 to 100, 120. We're still up disgusting amount. So what I'm saying is, using that as evidence, as researchers, we look at the catalyst. It's not about dates because dates will betray you. How many times do people throw out these dates? Oh, it's going to happen this time, like, and it never happens. You have to look at the catalyst. At no point with any of those other coins that bloom, that exploded, did we ever take a position of like, on this date is going to moon? Absolutely not. I think that's illogical. But you can get an idea around when the price might go up based on catalyst. And that's got to be up to you. You'll sleep better at night if you make that decision. You'll be able to live better. You make that decision. That's why I tell people here on this channel, we're not here to control your mind. We're here to set your mind free. If anything, here's some research and then you decide for yourself. Do your own calculations. We even put out some of the equations a long while ago that were given by a bank, right? You do use your own equations to come up with prices and use catalyst for you to decide for yourself when you think these prices are going to go up. Everybody has different amounts of these different coins. So then there's that. No one knows how much this person has or that person. Some people got a ton of stuff. So they may want to take profit at a lower place because they got a ton. So it takes less for them to see a disgusting, very, very good profit. Some people only have a few coins, so they may have to wait to a higher price. Like all of these different variables are things that only you're going to know. I'm sorry, I'm moving around a lot because like as I'm moving around, it's like, I don't know why. It keeps me from like coughing. I'm still like getting better. That's the last little piece of recovering that I notice is sticking with me. It's like a cough right here. You can hear it sometimes when I'm talking and I'm trying to like hold it back, like right there. So by moving around, it helps me to like breathe a little bit better. Okay. So just bear with me if I'm moving around a lot. So that's where I'll leave that as far as time periods, but I'm more in line with going along with what Ripple said, about 4 years, But I think that around that 4-year mark, that's when you're starting to see trickles of the tsunami, the floods that are going to come from the commercial banks and the large financial institutions, non-banking financial institutions. I think that begins once, just my humble opinion. Okay. I think that begins once the SEC case is over. I think you're going to start to see those trickles. And that price start to go up. People will begin to sell. So you're going to see a lot of fluctuation. Of course, this is logical. You're going to see a lot of fluctuation in that. But I think over the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of assets do well, depending on how the world economies are doing. Listen, we already know the catalyst for the bank coins, XRP, Algorand, XLM. That SEC case is going to weigh major. Okay. We already have a whole bunch of banks that are standing on the side waiting to use everything to its full capacity. So then just stay up to date on those catalysts. And then that'll tell you everything that you need to know. That's number one. Number two, gold. If the economies are doing very, very bad, and it's already begun, people are going to retreat to gold. So gold prices theoretically could go up significantly. So then you have that, right? So then you have the Bitcoin crowd, who definitely believes in Bitcoin. A lot of millionaires and billionaires have gotten that taste of winning when it comes to Bitcoin in their mouth, and they want another serving. So I do believe that Bitcoin could pump at some point in the next year. You just have to keep up with catalysts. I don't hold Bitcoin, so I really don't care, but I see what's there on the table. Like if that price start going up and there was a catalyst, I definitely would jump in and take a chunk of that money. I'm going to make money wherever I can. I'm not discriminating at all. Give me those dollars. But there's the possibility of that also. Then if Bitcoin's price does start to go up, you're going to see FOMO out of this world. Not just because people want the money, but because they need the money. All across the board. This is one of the first times you're ever going to see something like this, where people from the bottom to the top need that money. You're looking at companies losing billions of dollars. Billions. And they want to make up for that. Wasn't it just reported? Was it Disney that just lost billions? Then you look at all of these companies that were holding Bitcoin. They lost billions, right? You even saw some of them, the most hardcore Bitcoin people, they sold hundreds of Bitcoin recently. You saw that, right? I told you, be careful. That's another thing. Be careful with some of these people because they want exit liquidity. Well, they sold at a loss. They had to do what they had to do. You know, I know they're going to say they did that under the guise of tax reasons, possibly. But also they understand that because there's a coming possible recession / depression. I'm leaning more on the side of depression because there's so many jobs that have been lost. Massive layoffs. But because of that, they know there's the possibility that something like Bitcoin could go a little lower. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there's the possibility of that. So their mind state is like, we'll sell now. And since all the experts are saying that the economies are going to get worse, the price could go lower, then we'll buy back in at that time. There's a lot of people have that mentality. And hey, if it works for you, do that. A lot of people do that. They sell an asset. They may love that asset. They may believe in it. They sell an asset. I'm not saying to do that. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just giving my opinion on it. Okay. Some people, they'll sell the asset at this particular low, and it is at a loss. But what they're thinking is when it goes lower, they'll buy in lower, ride it on the way up. And then they're sort of equalizing out their losses, their pluses and minuses in that way. This is how a lot of people think. And I suppose that works for them. I'm more of a hold it type of individual. Like these are long holds. These are long holds for me. I don't have anything in that's detrimental to me. So I'm of the old school mind state. Hey, once I have a long hold that I believe in a project, put it to the side, let it do what it does. Stay abreast and privy of the catalyst, and then let the magic happen. And we have a bunch of quick money plays over here that we could always flip. We could always bring in a good profit with. right? But that's stuff that we don't discuss on the channel because that's dangerous stuff. Like that's not, by the time, with quick money plays, by the time you get to everybody else and tell everybody, hey, get in on this, it's already too late. With quick money plays, you got to get in there. Boom, 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 boom. Make your moves. Strike like lightning and get the heck out of there. There's no time to be like, you're making these quick moves. Then what, you make a video, you get on, like, no, by that time, everybody else is buying at the top. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I don't really discuss quick money plays. That's something that's personal. Like a person has to decide what they want to do when it comes to something that's more fast paced and risky, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? Like even the catalysts don't come into play as quickly, not as quickly, but you can't utilize catalysts in the same way with a quick money play as you can a long play. You understand what I'm saying? So that's not stuff that we typically will discuss here. So anyway, getting back to the articles here, let's go to another article. So hopefully that answered the individual's question and I brought a little bit of clarity and hopefully gave a little extra information. I try to give you as much as I can here on the channel, which by the way, if you haven't joined the members only channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Click that little join button down below, support the channel. That's what allows me to do these extended long videos that give you an extra amount of information. It's all brought to you by the members only section. All right. So if you'd like to support the channel, click that little join button down below. I greatly appreciate that. So now let's read this next article here. It's on coingape.com. And it says, why XRP price is not rallying. Ripple CTO clarifies. Okay, so let's read this little tidbit. They have been making David Schwartz work lately, haven't they? Man, he's had to talk a lot. But I'm glad that he does because he's clearing everything up. It says here, XRP Ripple's native crypto price is on a constant decline. I wouldn't say constant decline, it's down, but we know why. Due to long-running US SEC lawsuit and fading investors' interest. Why would you say that? Are you out of your mind? Fading investors' interest. Don't get me wrong. I know many people have left the market. They've told me. I've bid them farewell. However, the interest hasn't waned. It's just life. Life stepped in, and a lot of individuals had to take care of things in their lives. They had to withdraw that liquidity and use it for other things. They'll be back later, but that doesn't mean their interest has waned. That's not. It has to do with the economies are terrible. The governments have been allowing their people to suffer greatly. These people have children. These people have to pay for college for their children, buy vehicles. They have houses to maintain. They have businesses. Some of these people are in school. They have schooling to pay for themselves. Life, and not to mention a lot of the millionaires. If you've read those articles recently, a lot of millionaires that were in crypto, just to get on a different line of thinking with this, a lot of those millionaires mismanaged their funds. They mismanaged. And I said this a long time ago, be careful with your value. Haven't I been saying that everybody protect your value at all costs? Right? They weren't doing that. These millionaires were riding around in Lambos, partying every night, going to the clubs, throwing money around like it's nothing. And so they blew their millions. And so what did they have to do? It's not just with XRP. They had to liquidate a lot of different things, not just to maintain a lifestyle, but so that they could just live. So they could live. When you start getting into that fast life, and I will say a lot of older people don't really fall prey to that. We have not all older people, but a lot of older people. We have a lot of experience when it comes to business, struggle. We've seen it. We've been around the block a time or two. So we're very conservative and we protect our value. I mean, conservative with the money. All right. We're conservative with our money. We know we protect our value and we don't waste a thing. We don't waste a thing and we let that money work for us. But we're definitely not going to blow it on Lambos or overblown mansions, things like that. Like you get a reasonable living quarters. That's it. Anyway, so a lot of those individuals had to liquidate many different assets, not just XRP. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's fading investor interest. No, We have more interest now than ever. Haven't you read the Ripple quarterly reports and annual reports where they show that ODL has been exploding? More institutional interest is there when it comes to XRP, Algorand as well, Hedera as well. More institutional interest is there for them than ever before. So there's no fading interest. And in fact, what we're gaining is substantial interest, right? Solid, substantial interest. That's good. That's what we need, because in the future, it ensures when that price goes up, it'll stabilize. We want it to stabilize at a high price. We don't want that volatility. We want it to go up, because once it plateaus, there's the possibility for it to go up again. You see what we can go up in legs. I think that's logical, right? So we want it to go up and have that substantial interest, which is coming from the institutions. That's what we've been here for the entire time. The bank money. You can never lose sight of that. We're not here for retail money. We can get that from quick money place. We're here for the bank's money. This is the big one. These are the big fish, real whales. That's why when we speak XRP, and a lot of my peers do also, when they speak XRP as well, they're talking trillions truthfully. There's no falsehood in what they're saying. Now, is there a guarantee in that? Absolutely not. But we're not here for a guarantee, which is why we watch the Catlayst. Trillions. So we want that substantial money. And I'm going to have it also. I'm not here to take a loss. We're going to win. Simple as that. That's how I feel personally. You can have your own thoughts. I'm not here to control your mind. I'm just sharing my opinion. We're taking that money. I feel like that. That's what I feel. It's not financial advice. So anyway, let's continue on here. Ripple CTO gave out the example of Google back in 2000. He compared how people back then didn't believe that a search engine would be the next big thing. This is very true. And will make billions of dollars ahead. Ooh, do you understand what he's trying to tell you? Let's read that again. He's telling. They didn't believe that a search engine would be the next big thing and will make billions of dollars ahead. So he's comparing this to XRP. So he's telling you billions are coming. That's the correlation that he's drawing. But we know that XRP is not going to be moving billions, only billions. That with all those banks, they said over 300 or 400 financial institutions signed up. We're talking trillions. Can you imagine what it might do to that price? But that's the correlation he's drawing here. It says, meanwhile, on convincing, some people who might have joined Google back then would have made millions by now. Exactly. But it's always the same, isn't it, David? The lay person, the non-researcher, they always doubt. They doubt because they don't do the research. That's number one. Number two, they also doubt because they've been burned a lot by their own laziness. Why do I say that? A lot of people don't believe in all of crypto because they think with a very obtuse mind. They think all crypto is the same. They think all crypto is Bitcoin, and it's not. The utility coins are completely different. That's number one. So then also pairing together with that, a lot of people, they make terrible investments. I can't even believe some of the stuff I hear about in the real world. Their friend or some person they think is a friend had come up to them and said, hey, you heard about Shiba Inu, Elon's coin. It went up 100%. And for some reason, they convinced the people it's going to go up another 5,000%. So they invest their money, lose everything. Now they're hurt. So now all of crypto is the bad guy because you made a bad decision when you shouldn't have listened to that individual who probably used you as exit liquidity. So now that they're hurt, they hate all of crypto. So, you know, they're not going to get in and hold or believe through the rough times. So only a few make money off of Google. Only a few really make money off the Apples, the Teslas, who got in early and understood what they were. They looked at the catalysts. They looked at the infrastructures that were set up. That's what we're dealing with right now. And yes, everything goes through a bubble because you got a lot of bad actors involved early on, whether it's the internet or search engines type of thing. You had a lot of controversies with search engines, right? And a lot of them went away. What was the one? What was that one with a dog? Dog pile? I don't know what happened to that, but that's gone. Alta Vista, that's gone. Like, so you're in the end, the bubbles pop and only the strongest, only the best survive. And that's what we believe the bank coins are. They're in good with the governments. They're in good with the central banks. Who's better than them? You get what I'm saying? So they would be theoretically speaking, the ones to survive. And all that money, not that I care about retail money at all, because I don't, but all that money will flood into the bank coins, theoretically speaking. But what's important is that money only acts as like a sedimentary layer for the interbank payments that will be flowing through the bank coins. And those amounts of money, those trillions, are what can move that price. This is why it's important to stay up on those documents and stay up on the transcripts of what the governments say and what governments are instituting what and how fast the tokenization of everything is moving. That's important. That's important. Okay, so now let's so David Schwartz has been saying a lot of good stuff here, defending XRP, letting people know the truth. It says here, he mentioned that some search engines, so he mentioned the same thing. I didn't remember these here. Some search engines like Ask Jeeves, I remember that one actually. Ask Jeeves, Alta Vista, and Lycos, I've never heard of that before, were also at the right place at the right time, but couldn't make the most of it. Good point, Mr. Schwartz. So what he's saying here is XRP is making the most of it, right? He's putting those in a juxtaposition to what's actually going on right now. But he's saying that the people just don't have the vision to see. I understand that, sir. I myself am a visionary, and we've had many victories, sir. We will have a few more. Ripple CTO believes that crypto is at the stage where the market is still figuring out if it's going to be the next big thing. We have an article coming up, if you just stick with me, right? We have chapters so you can jump around. But Silvio McCauley of Algorand let the people know recently crypto is the next big thing. At least the bank coins are the next big thing. I don't know about crypto like as a whole. I don't really care about crypto as a whole. I care about the bank coins and them doing what they need to do so that hopefully we could come by way of generational wealth. This is not financial advice, right? So now let's continue on here to another article. We only got through 2 articles, but we're flowing pretty good in my humble opinion. So then did you see this video here from Algorand? It's from Algorand's Twitter, but it's with Citi, and the video is posted on Citi's website. That is so major. That is major because a lot of powerful people have access to Citi's website, and they're going to be told to go there. The reason that they post the video there and the link there is because they know a lot of important people will put eyes to this video, and they want the link and everything and the coding and everything to be as secure as possible for those individuals. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, right? But they usually and could have just put a link to a YouTube, but they didn't. Anyway, this video here has Silvio McCauley. It's titled, "Our founder at Silvio McCauley sat down with at Citi to discuss the fundamentals of blockchain, zero knowledge proofs, Algorand, and more." Did you watch this video? It's only 7 minutes. This was intellectual domination. Silvio McCauley roared and told the world, pretty much told all the banks, especially this individual who's representing Citibank, pretty much Algorand is the best. He explained the technologies, which were mind-blowing, as usual, in the way that only Silvio McCauley can. Why we're absolutely dominating, why we are the future, and necessary. This was powerful, and it showed why. So when they want to bring in the big deals, that's the only time Silvio McCauley comes out. Pay attention when he starts coming out. That's when the big news starts getting released. When he did the last few interviews, then what did you hear? Then the Bank of Italy came out and said, hey, we're using Algorand a little bit more, and we're going to use Algorand for insurance in Italy. That was after he came out and he made a couple rounds. When Silvio, he's like on the chessboard for Algorand, he's the big one. When you want to really just flabbergast and amaze those who you're trying to make deals with, you bring in Silvio McCauley. So I was happy to see this. This was very good. I think I can't wait to see the results of this. I think there's going to be a lot happening this year. It hasn't even been a few days to 2023, and already Silvio McCauley is hard at work. Already, Algorand wasted no time. Who works harder than them? So many other blockchains are still taking a break. And this is, what is today's date? January the 2nd. And Silvio McCauley sitting down in a meeting, breaking down why Algorand is absolutely dominating and why it is the future. I love that. And that, my friends, is activity that could possibly lend to the price of Algorand going up in the future. That's another reason why Algorand is so respected. There's only a few founders, CEOs that do that and actually are genius level. Silvio McCauley is one. You have Gilbert Verdian of Quant, another one who's been dominating and working hard, doesn't take almost any days off. You know, you have Lehman Baird at Hedera also. So that's another reason why, I want to say that, that's another reason why these bank coins are poised to dominate. Look at the leadership. You have to look at the teams that you're expecting to close deals. That's important. We have the best, some of the most brilliant minds in the world, and they have a lot of experience. Those other blockchains in crypto don't have that. This is why I say when there's uncertainty in the rest of crypto, that doesn't apply to us. That has nothing to do with us whatsoever. Our foundations are solid. So now let's continue on here. So then we have this little article here, and it's titled, "Is the Quant price poised for recovery after dismal end to 2022?" Well, it depends on when you got Quant. This tells me that you probably got into Quant late. That's probably what happened. Like, everybody sees the price going up. They didn't care before. They didn't research it. They didn't understand the catalyst of Quant and how crucial Q&T actually is to Overledger. I don't even know if some of these people even know about Overledger. They just know Quant was going up. Let me get in, make a little bit of a profit. They didn't sell in time, right? A lot of these are movers and shakers. They're not going to park their money there. That's the majority of the people that tend to get stuck in these types of assets. They still will not do research, so they don't understand that price could go much higher. Everyone else got in at $40, $45, $42, $43. They're still up, no matter what the price of Quant is right now. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says Q&T is trading above long-term support at $90. It broke out from a short-term descending resistance line. Let's scroll down here a little bit. It says at the end of June, the Q&T price broke out from a long-term descending resistance line, which had been in place since the all-time high of $429. Let me stop there. And see that? That's nothing. So $429 was the all-time high, but let's continue reading here. Unsurprisingly, the breakout led to a sharp Quant upward movement and maximum price of $228 in October. In the bloody bear market, it went to $228. If it did that in the bloody bear market, what do you think it can do in the bull run? Quant is a winner. Oh, I love Quant. Oh, I love Quant. So $228 in October. Listen, let me stop here. Quant, like I said, and this is my humble opinion, this is not financial advice at all. Quant, because of its utility, which brings necessity, it has to be used for Overledger. Because of the partnerships, see a chain, see a partner, all of these hundreds of banks that they're attempting to bring in, we have to wait to see what capacity they're going to be using Overledger, but well, that's why we stay up to date on the catalyst. But because of that also, then also take into account that they're aggressively trying to bring in new banks all the time. Like, that's their main focus. So you put all that together, and in my humble opinion, Quant is a 1K coin, easily a 1K coin. Just my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This doesn't mean for you to buy some Quant. I don't care if you buy Quant or sell Quant. I'm just sharing my humble opinion, okay? A little bit of research and some of my enthusiasm, because I have like fun researching. I have fun sharing my thoughts on these things, but that's all this is, okay? So that's my thoughts on that. You know, they talk about the support area. Listen, when it's time, I expect Quant to take off like a rocket. We have to stay up to date on the catalyst. Once again, you're gonna get tired of me saying catalyst, but you know, on the reasons why the prices can go. There must be a reason why. If you don't have a reason why, then you're playing a dangerous game, right? The reason why will tell you when it's going to go up and why it might go down, when it might go down. You can use deductive reasoning for all of that. So now let's continue on here. So we have this little article here on U.Today. I thought it was pretty interesting. At least the headline is, we're going to read it together now, but it's titled, "Most Americans Think Crypto is Unsafe." Yeah, most Americans bought at the top. Most Americans don't even know what crypto is. Most Americans never did any research on the differences between crypto. Which ones are smart contract platforms? Which ones are utility coins? Which ones are stable coins? Most don't know the difference. I know, because I interact with people all the time. They don't know the difference. So, I mean, to take this into account when making any type of decision, I wouldn't. But I will say that if they're going to stay out, then that's going to bring more stability to crypto. I mean, you don't want a bunch of doubtful people in there. That's volatility coming into certain things that you don't want volatility in. We want to see some of those prices skyrocket. Well, that's not going to happen if you have people that are constantly going to get in and sell. They're going to make a lot of volatility. They're going to scare a lot of others who are also, a lot of people are scary individuals. They're going to scare a lot of other people. So then they're going to be selling. So now you got these big fluctuations in price. Then you're going to have the governments using that kind of information against us. Like, none of that is good. So if they're going to stay out, hey, stay out. What can you do? There's nothing that we can do about that. But I think a lot of that is obviously based on ignorance. If they think that crypto was unsafe. Which crypto? Meme coins that everybody was buying up. And a lot of us were telling people, hey, be careful with these meme coins. You're playing with fire. And they didn't care. They got a little taste of some money, a little tiny cute money. And they kept jumping into these quick money rug pull meme coins, or however you want to do that. Some are rug pull, some are meme coin, whatever you want to do it. And they were losing. So you get this little bit of money and then you try to go in for it. You try to double and triple dip, and they lost tons of money. They took a calculated gamble, which is ill-advised. But that's another reason why a lot of people are, believe crypto is unsafe. They think everything is meme coins. And they think everything is a quick money play, and they're not. They're not. These, at least the bank coins, are real technologies that are being put in place, and it takes time to build. It takes time to change a world system. Simple as that. So that's why they think most of crypto is unsafe. It says the survey revealed that 55% consider it to be either very or somewhat unsafe, with only 18% describing it as safe. Those are the smart people. Those are the XLM, XRP, Algorand, Hedera, Cello holders. Those are bank coin holders. I promise you they are. They're the smart money. The smart. They had a poll sometime like a year or two ago that showed that XRP holders are the smartest holders in crypto. That's what the poll said. Right? But obviously XRP holders, there's a lot of crossover, because most of the time XRP holders are also holders of things like Algorand, Hedera, XLM. They're all together. We're all together. Bankcoin family. Simple as that. Mi familia. Anyway, it says the results also suggest that many Americans would like the U.S. government, to ramp up crypto regulation. They need to. They need to. If they're going to be punishing, look, if they're going to be punishing companies because of regulations or lack thereof or non-compliance, then yeah, you need to issue regulations. But any other time, you would like the government to be involved as little as possible. They tend to bring their own problems. There's a lot of issues there, but we'll leave that there. Okay, then they get into some political stuff. I don't care about their politics at all. They've been just devouring each other politically. It's disgusting. And people should be building up these places where they live so that these places can continue to be viable for living and success into the future. But yeah, let's just skip all that political nonsense there. So then it references FTX once again. These article writers, they are assisting in painting crypto with this broad brush of criminality. What does FTX have to do with any of the Bitcoin family? Nothing. We have no ties to them at all. But they just say crypto with this overarching word. It says notably the majority of Americans, 66% of this tiny little poll, by the way. This tiny little poll. This poll has how many people? But you're going to use this to represent. I've never understood that, by the way. It makes no sense to me. But this poll is of 1,200 people. 1,200 people. There's over 380 million people in America. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know there's over 300 million. But I think it was something close to like 360 to 380 million. That's the people you can count. That's the people that you can count. Okay? There's a lot of people you can't count. I know. Trust me on this. I know. So this poll is nothing. 1,200 people, and you think that that's going to tell you something about the population? Oh, I forgot. Samples. So you get this sampled areas. Right. Come on, man. Stop. This speaks only for those 1,200 people. But because of taking that into account, it says here, notably, the majority of Americans have also heard about the arrest of disgraced FTX founder, that individual. I'm not going to say his name. Most of the poll respondents think that individual will and should be convicted. Like, who cares what they think? Let the law handle it. Simple as that. Let the law handle it. Stop overthinking on overthinking on these nonsensical things. Let's get back to winning. Let's get back to success. And see, that's why I like being a part of the Bitcoin family, because we continue to have success. We don't involve ourselves in things that have nothing to do with us. We don't waste time. We focus. You have to focus. If you want to be a winner, you got to focus. Block all the other stupidity out, all the superficialities, all that gossiping, all that nonsense. We don't have time for that. I'm trying to make money. What's the next catalyst? What's the next big partnership? What is the government doing right now? What is that bank doing over there right now? What partnerships are we bringing in? See, this is what a lot of other individuals don't ask. They don't ask that. That's why they wonder why a lot of these projects are dead. They don't have any partnerships. Focus. Keep your eye on the ball. Sylvia McCauley's keeping his eye on the ball. Stacey Wharton's keeping her eye on the ball. Danelle Dixon, eye on the ball. Brad Garlinghouse, same thing. Lehman Bear, Gilbert Verdian. Their eye is on the prize. So is mine. We want to win. So majority of Americans are not focused. What are they focusing on? They're constantly having their attention diverted. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Your attention is valuable. Be careful who you give it to. Be careful. But you can do what you want, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just sharing my opinion. So let's move on to this article here. And it's titled, Italy approves 26% capital gains tax on cryptocurrencies. Yup, and a lot of people are moving out of Italy. I love Italy. Love my Italian people. You know that. A lot of my people closest to me in life have been Italian. Showed me a lot of love. I love the people of Italy. Governments are different. All right? I'll leave it at that. I don't care what government it is. I have love for the people around the world, not necessarily their leaders, right? But yeah, a lot of people, that means a lot of people probably gonna move out of Italy. Give up that Italian citizenship, go somewhere where there's greener pastures, or they're gonna look for loopholes. So, and another crazy thing about these countries trying to impose these huge taxes is that most of the people that are really benefiting from crypto are people from the bottom. They were from the bottom, now they made it to the top, and now you're gonna slap them in the face with a 26% capital gains tax. Does that seem right to you? They're robbing people that are on the come up. There's no different in the United States. They have so many of these different laws. I'm not sure which ones passed and which ones did. I don't know. but I remember hearing about certain laws where they were going to do certain taxing on certain things where the people, the majority of the people that would be affected were going to be people that were on the come up. Most of the people that are on the come up, or they're coming into, I won't even say wealth, they're coming into riches. Number one, they fall right within those brackets and they get taxed to death. That's number one. Number two, they didn't have a chance yet to learn how to live off of income that you can't have this type of activity with. They don't know how to use loopholes yet. So it affects them in a devastating way. It's a real grimy thing to do, in my humble opinion. But I'm just going to leave that there. That's horrible, in my humble opinion. It says the Italian Senate approved the new tax rate for crypto trading as part of the budget legislation for 2023. Let's move on to something else. The West is really hurting themselves badly. Everywhere else in the world looking real delicious to a lot of people. You know, and like I said, that's why you have so many people starting businesses elsewhere, whether people like to hear it or not. And they're living in paradise. They're living in paradise. They're doing well. Listen, life as a whole is not without struggle. There's a balance to everything. So, because I say that because a lot of people, I know a lot of people will say, well, you know, it's not all good. Nothing is all good here on earth anyway. There's a balance, night, day, left, right, up, down. There's a natural rising and falling, inflow and outflow. We know this already. So even if something is 98% good, you're going to have that 2% bad. But it's necessary because that the contrast bring the experience of life. So yeah, you're going to have a little bit of struggle, but it's up to you how you perceive those things and how you attack them. That's up to you what you do with that. Perception is powerful. So control your mind, control your perception. Jump over some people get to a wall and they let the wall stop them. And some people run through the wall. Bring in some equipment and demolish the wall. You know, we're talking metaphorically speaking, but you get the idea. So everyone approaches that wall different in life. But if the West is going to continue to do things that are detrimental to their own people, and they've been almost outright hostile to their own people across the board in the West. Well, then they shouldn't feel upset if their people decide to search for greener pastures, a little bit more freedom. A little bit better living, treated a little bit more fairly, maybe. People have that right to seek something better. So, and it won't be everybody, but a select few. It's always that way. It's always a select few, a remnant, if you will. So let's continue on here. So now we have this article here, and it's titled World Economic Forum 2023 prediction on crypto. It's on coingate.com. Sorry, like I said, if you hear me like, you see that? I have to like slow down my talking because that cough is still there. So my apologies, everyone. WEF's stance on crypto. According to the World Economic Forum, the quote, crypto winter of 2022 might be the turning point for the industry at large due to the numerous fallouts encountered by top crypto businesses last year, alleged top crypto businesses. They only appear to be that. Keep that in mind. They appear to be that, right? So the WEF warned that the future of cryptocurrencies will be driven by regulatory frameworks issued by a nation's government. Wasn't I just saying that? Pay attention to what the governments are saying, their monetary policy, their regulations, things of that nature. It says, in the blog post, World Economic Forum observed that jurisdictions that take steps to regulate the developing industry are likely to define the future. However, the WEF also noted that the unscrupulous actors can or will still exploit the industry while it grows. This is always the way it is. You have banks that have been doing horrible as well, and then they close down. Nobody speaks about what happened when they were up and running. This happens in every industry all the time. All of those hacks that never go reported, right? That are super hard to search for on the internet, but you could find them. But all of those security breaches at the banks, what happens to that? Who did that? So we never hear any result of that, right? So these things happen, is what I'm just saying, is that these things happen in every industry. There's always going to be some bad actors somewhere. Crypto's growing use cases, the independent international organization emphasized that experimentation in the financial services industry is something to take note of, while stating that the underlying technology of cryptography and blockchain has wider applications. The forum further singled out organizations such as banking giant JP Morgan, who are rapidly embracing the usage of blockchain technology. Okay, that's an okay example if you want to go with something legacy system safe, right? The World Economic Forum did note, though, that the unscrupulous actors may potentially co-opt the rising technology for, some of this negativity we're not going to feed into. Let's scroll down here. Despite the potential for these technologies, I'm trying to skip this negativity here. It says, it's stated that the modern economic tool set will continue to use cryptocurrencies and blockchains as essential components in the foreseeable future. That's what we needed to get to. Thanks, WEF. You just told us we are the future. Thank you. You just told us. I'll read it again. The forum stated that the modern economic tool set, which will continue to use cryptocurrency and blockchains as essential components in the foreseeable future. Thanks, WEF. Appreciate that. So they just told you we are the future. Who's on their list of cryptocurrencies that they love? Stellar, Cello, XRP. That's who I remember. LCX and XDC also. Let's keep them in there also. So that's who they're talking about. They made this well known. You can search this on their website. So I think that's very powerful information to have. So now let's continue on here. Then we have this article here from coinedition.com. U.S. market recession imminent in H2 2023. Famous American investor Michael Burry has predicted that the U.S. economy will go into recession. I think it's more like a light version of a depression. Honestly, that's how I feel. By the second half of 2023, which means if that does happen and you stay abreast of them catalysts, then expect some dips, expect some corrections, expect some negativity to happen. All right. Prepare. Take precautionary measures just in case. But you have to stay on top of those catalysts in order to know what's going to happen. But let's continue on here. He notes, and I've been saying this for some time. Didn't I say that there's a possibility things could get worse before they get better? Then also you got to take into account that the Fed has to raise interest rates if they want to bring it down significantly. And keep in mind, when they're talking about, the inflation is doing better, they don't include food and energy. Keep that in mind. They don't include certain things. So that data is skewed to give to the public a satisfactory image so the public can calm down. It's a nice little way to move a piece on the chessboard, isn't it? Negate certain information or omit certain information, rather. Let's continue on here. It says, however, it is not the last peak of the current cycle. He notes that the next inflation spike will be characterized by the response by the Federal Reserve to the impending recession and the government's efforts to stimulate the economy. I don't even like to hear that word. Yeah, that's dangerous. When you put the words government stimulate together, future problems. In his recent tweet, Burry predicts that the CPI will fall to lower levels, initiating a series of events to lead to another inflation spike. Didn't I say that? That inflation, look, we were looking at historical data in one video, right? For those of you who actually watched the videos all the way through. We were looking at historical data in an article that we were reading, and it showed that every single time inflation plateaus, as of recent, it goes up again. It plateaus and it goes up again. While everybody else, because of hopeful thinking, they think it's going to plateau and then it'll go down. But no, the Fed hasn't done enough. So the only logical result, I would believe, is for it to plateau and then go up. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. It says inflation peaked, but it is not the last peak of the cycle. We are likely to see CPI go lower, possibly negative in 2H 2023, and the U.S. in recession by any definition. That's powerful. Fed will cut and government will stimulate. And we will have another inflation spike. It's not hard. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That there's the big possibility of that. Sure. Yes. I like how he worded it also. In June 2021, prior to the current bear market, Burry predicted a crash in the digital assets market. Yeah, but we all kind of saw that coming. In a now deleted tweet, he described, and we were talking about that. A lot of individuals talking about it, but you just don't have as big of a platform to have the world actually listen to what we were saying at the time. But because, well, we can discuss that another time. All the inflation and what causes inflation and the overprinting of money. There's so many different little aspects. And like I said, it was horrible, absolutely horrible monetary policy. And in fact, the monetary policy was so bad that you had the head of the European Central Bank and the head of the IMF complaining that, hey, we have to do better with this monetary policy. Remember that? That's literally on video. So it's not just me saying it. All right. Let's continue on here. So now we're going to end off with this little bit of news here. It's from cryptodaily.co.uk. Australia becomes crypto ATM hub, overtakes El Salvador. This is very good because we have a lot of bank coin domination going on in Australia. Most notably, XRP has been dominating in Australia, Australia National Bank, QNB Bank, not QNB, sorry about that. That's in the main region. So National Australia, CommBank, sorry about that, CommBank and a few other banks. We've been dominating down there. So the more that they adopt cryptocurrencies and they're getting used to using cryptocurrencies, the more banks I believe we can bring in, because they're going to get used to those systems. Their people are going to get used to utilizing crypto in whatever shape or form. And it will ease the setting up of infrastructures. It will make it a little bit easier. The people are a little bit more familiar with it. The banks will say, hey, this is actually a good thing. It takes away some of that fear from the commercial banks. Of course, the central banks are fearless. They love us. But a lot of the commercial banks are rogue. We still need to bring them in. So I think that this could be a good thing here. So to see that happening in Australia, where XRP is absolutely dominating right now, is a good thing. And I think this is only going to spread around the world to have this type of activity. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.